Well, now allow me to introduce myself, to properly introduce myself, and then I'll hand over the reins to the next best person who's going to come up on stage. The lady is speaking. Most of you have asked yourself questions. Who is she? What does she do? Some of you know me from lengthy Facebook paragraph posts. But let me break it down to you. You see this lady standing here today. This lady is ecstatic today because one day she was just seated at the office and she decided, my directors are such a friendly, tag. So how about I go to them and I present an idea? Are they going to be welcoming to the idea? Yes, that I know, because they are always welcoming of anything that has to do with creatives. And I went to them and I said, guys, you know what? This was just an elevator pitch. And I said, I think in Bulawayo, we need to have a workshop like this one, right here. And they said, Melcy, that's a good idea. That's a great idea. We'll definitely do it when the year begins. My name is Melcy. I am Melissa. Who is Melcy? Who is Melissa? In short, again, I'm an arts journalist, qualified, trained, proud member of the Zimbabwe Media Commission. I'm an all-rounder. So allow me to introduce the queen, who is on the panel. I am very scared. Yes, I am very scared to pronounce her name because such as Kuluba Singu 2, I think I went south. So Queen, please, on stage. Let's give her a round of applause as she comes on stage.
Dinonzi Mandipa. Yes, my name is Mandipa Masugu. I am a festival director for Munch and Sip. The topic I was given was with regards to contracts. Contrary to my introduction about how the seriousness of contracts, with us, they are not so serious, right? Yes, Liz is giving me the eye. So part of my team, the stage, I came with the stage manager and our hospitality manager for Munch and Sip. The contract to us binds us, yes. However, when we are now working within the creativity industry, we find that for you to be your most creative, we need to allow you to fly, right? In so doing, I mentioned that I would ask Les to come in and maybe dissect that a bit. We look for the creative aspect first before we put you on stage. Achu will maybe tell you about my experience with talking to you to say, all right, when we say we're looking at the creative side, remember we have to put on a good show. When we're putting on a good show, the formality, yes, has to be respected. But at the same time, when you're putting on a good show, it means we have to have a good lineup. We have to have a lineup that's going to pull a crowd. We have to have a lineup that's going to keep the crowd. So what we then tend to prioritize is to say, right, who's going to give us a good show? How to determine who gives us a good show is to say, right, does this person have numbers, right? If they have numbers, does this person's numbers, do their values align with what we're trying to build? So we're not just going to have, yes, there's this new kid on the block, he's got good numbers, put him on the stage. Will they help us maintain our professionalism? So yeah, what we're scouting for at present, we've actually started with scouting for artists. And when we look for that process, it's us trying to look for something unique. So in most cases, I always try to tell people the way we look at it from a business point of view is to say we don't owe the artist anything. If anything, it's your obligation to want to do more for your career, right? What we want to do is we create a stage, we put a lot of money towards that stage, and it's up to you to keep the followers entertained. That way, we have bigger numbers coming forth. So when it comes to contracts, yes, we take them seriously, but in actual fact, it's really for when shit hits the fan, for lack of a better term. It's to protect you if going forward there is a crisis. But I wouldn't say at first it's something you need to prioritize. The most thing we prioritize first is the creativity aspect and the businessness of what you want to make your career.
The contract says there's certain percentages, we're going to get deep into that. There are certain percentages that go on the contract. So if you are saying you are not big on contracts, how best then do you work with such an artist?
You know, when it comes to the manager's contract, asizingeni. You came with your manager, whatever we pay you, you and your manager will do the split. Remember, our mandate is to provide a stage where you can perform. Right? Having performed, we make the payment.
All right.
Having made the payment, you further go and discuss with your manager how you do the split.
So who do you work with here? Pardon me. Are you working with the artist directly or you're working with the manager directly? Or it's either?
Whoever approaches us. In this case, I don't know if I'm allowed to give examples of artists.
Yeah, well,
actually, yes. St. Flo's contract was the St. Flo's contract became public, right? He has a 30% split with his management, whereas they take 70%, right? Why that would be the case? Brilliant. You can attest to our conversations in the past, right? You guys are selling a brand to us. Your brand is what makes me want to pay you. If your brand is not worth the money that you're asking, I will either try to, excuse me for saying this, but as a promoter, maybe let me be general, I will try to exploit you.
All right.
Right? I do not owe you money.
This is interesting.
Right?
I love it when it's raw like that.
Yeah, I do not owe you money. You are coming to us to perform on our stage. Unless, of course, we approached you. You're coming to us to perform on our stage. I am going to look at your profile, right? Let me not say I. Leslie is going to look at your profile, right? And say, right, do they have a manager? Okay, they don't have a manager, right? Do they have an artificial following? What I mean by artificial following, if we see you in Pick n Pay, are there people running after you for pictures?
Ah, okay.
If I see you at Smokehouse, what are you drinking?
All right.
If I see you Esbayeni at 6 a.m. Mutagiwe, and then you turn around and give us an invoice for $1.5 to perform for 5 minutes, has your brand been taken seriously before your talent?
I want to go back to where you said you are not big on contracts, right? You're going to work based on the numbers and whatnot. Is it the same criteria that you use with the international, seeing that you guys also bring in international acts? So is it a vibe where you just call, Siyakufuna, we want you, come through how much, blah, 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 we send through. How do you work with the international? Is it still no contract type of vibe, or it's now different? You just do it with the locals?
You're asking if we treat an international act the same as somebody here. She's telling you we deal with the brand. If you come and approach me and we have a Mkoto conversation, I will pay you the Mkoto price. But if you don't package yourself in terms of little things, it's just your image, whatever. If that's not in your contract, I'm going to treat you the way that I think I should treat you. So what is the contract? Is it a contract with me, or is a contract you to me?
You've created a brand that has value over the years.
Absolutely.
So when you come to Munch and Sip, it's a different, or any promoter really, it's a different conversation whatsoever. But like Mandy said, this is our issue. It's a problem. But our problem in Bulawayo, as also a bit of creatives, is that we feel so much pity for each other that we don't want to talk about the truth, because but we have so much talent in the country with people that have come. We were having a discussion yesterday with Vegezela, with people from all over the world. Our godfather of entertainment industry come from Ikas Lalapa Bulawayo. Do they go there and the first thing that Oskido says is, I'm from Luveve? Does he say that? Why? Because it does not add value to where he is. So what is the problem? We go back and say, how do Bulawayo artists create value to their brands such that when we go to speak about a contract, then everyone or promoter will even want to be interested in the contract? So the issue, contract, yes, I love that question because artists are getting manipulated. Do you know why? Because sometimes when a Harare promoter comes, let's say Minangi or rapper, Bonnie is also a rapper. Nash Payne says, I have a show, Bonnie, it's like $200, you we have the same talent, remember? When he says, hey, but then sure. But Lobon is Fumele, you're 400, because you're the same person with the same talent coming from Harare is paid 1,000, you're paid 200. Do you know why? Because Gulo Muntu within us, contract, because it's always, oh, it's a platform, oh, so that they see my talent, oh, so that it's about time, like Maggie is saying as it is. No promoter will come, no promoter is coming here to tell us, guys, news. Abantwana bagide makosi every day. Are they white people going to scout them? How are they going to perform overseas when there are no people? Are they dancing in the right place? No, they should go and dance wherever, who actually have the capacity to take them out of where they are. That's basically what she's saying. Merchantship, is it now an international festival? Almost there. Did we have we had so many amazing people that had come, scouters of talent, or, people who curate some of the best festivals in the world. They were there. Is that not a good platform? It's there. Were you there? Yes, it's the right platform for people to be there. So, contract, I love it, but let's go back and say,
when we are looking at marketing, we are looking at the strategies that you use to market your brand. We are looking at your branding. We are looking at the essentials that form a brand. So these are the 7 P's. The first P is product. I'm going to give the list of the 7 P's and then it says Hamba, breaking them down. The first P is product. The second is price. The third is place, which in most cases it's usually placement, but place or placement. And then we've got promotion, we have people, we've got process.
What makes you an artist is the thing that is within you. Absolutely. You don't have to go and learn for it. But now you need to learn the business of how to commercialize that art, right? So in all essence, I don't feel like as artists we can expect workshops to be done. It's actually good that Deb3 is doing this for artists, but we can't expect people to come and always save us and pull us out of the rut that we're in. As Amachans, we have access to the internet. Almost everyone in this place has a smartphone. Next time you are on the internet, don't go and check who so-and-so did what, and fight on WhatsApp groups and watch TikToks. Go on the internet and go on YouTube. Each and every single aspect that has to do with artist management and development is there on the internet. Just go and search how to brand myself as an artist. If you watch 10 videos, you're going to have 10 different perspectives on how to brand yourself.
Absolutely.
How to have stage presence. Each and every aspect is there on the internet. So I think now it's a matter of you. Are you serious about your art and really committed? Because no one is coming to save you. We're in a very tough country. Everyone is focused on their business. When people start coming to you, just know that there is something that they think they can exploit of financial value to you. But then how do you get to that point? You really have to self-educate yourself as an artist. Next time you're on the internet, stop going on gossip pages and whatever. Just make sure that you invest in educating yourself. If you do self-education as an artist, you are going to see that you are going to start doing moves and making traction in the right spaces, in the right way. And the right people will find you already in motion.
Okay, my name is Zola Mkuda Kwashe Takundwa. I'm a blogger, I'm a publicist. I work mainly as a communications person. So my presentation will touch on what kind of a manager does an artist need. And also with a question, when I, as an artist, lapho sihlezi khona ngifuna uzibuza umuzo oyi-1. Do you want a manager for your brand or ufuna sponsor or aka imbinga? What do you want? Kunama questions engifuna lizibuze wona abalama notebook lingawabhala ababhala emafonini lingabhala. Which part of my art or music business needs management? Question number 2. Which part of my business as an artist or as a musician, as a comedian needs management? Number 3, management versus self-management. So, over the years, I've also seen Amayama artists who are successfully managing themselves. Abangela manager, like you go to that artist, you have a deal done, everything works perfect. We are show agulama problems. Then number 4, how will I choose this manager? What kind of credentials should this person have?
Salibonani, mina ibizo lami kuthiwa nguDerek Thembo. Ngiqhatshwe ecompany okuthiwa iKhaisa Events. Into engifuna ukuyibuza lapha ngizokhuluma ngemanagement. I-management le esikhuluma ngayo kuma artist yaphi njalo bala yiphi imali. Lo ngibuzo oqala engifuna ukuqala ngobuze. Sibe sesondela kundaba ye-management le. Nguzu list manager besiba baningi kakhulu lapha. Nxa sesikayile reality yokuthi njengoDerek ngingaqhatsha uwitness lapha ngithi witness ngicela umanage i-production yeKhaisa. Mina ngizabe ngiwayawaya ngisiya ngale ngisiyadinga imali kanti ama shows lawo esikhuluma ngawo ayenzakala kangaki endingaphi. Lapha kuthiwe sikhulume ngereality, so ngikhuluma ngereality. Ngifuna ukuba kwazi ukuthi sengiqhatsha abantu abangu-20 already iKhaisa labantu abangu-10. Engifuna ukubaholisa ngemali enzayenza kuma shows. Abanye bayastress ukuthi bafuna ukubaleka behambe egoli bedinga umsebenzi. But lokho ngifuna ukudinga ukude ukuthi yebuyeze kuba iproblem empilweni yami. Into enzama ukuthi ngizikhangela, that's reality. Because one way the other manager ngabuya kasafuna ukuhola njengami emphakathi lapha nengigidayo. Usefuna ukuhola njengomanager olesikolo onguyothengisa icompany. I understand siyabafuna manager, yes of course. But I believe singabuyela ngale emantsheni siphethe ukukhulunywa khona kuthiwa kudinga ngale ma contract. Ngcono ndinga ukude esihlangana emgwaqweni. Kude adinga ama shows ndoda. Ngelinye day uzathola imali.
To get money, how do you get money? Right? With your talent, you need to be able to approach someone who you know may be able to fund you. Right? And in this case, it would be someone you call a sponsor. I think I gave an example of Nigerian artists. They keep stemming out, and Nigerian artists create their own society. So the equivalent of you've got your sponsor, now you've moved up to another level. You can now talk to other artists that have moved up that one level. So you go to someone and say, right, I've got this talent, right? And I am ready to work for you because this is a job, right? It's now a job. You're employed by the sponsor. In some cases, there are people who have money that they don't even know is in their bank accounts. Let's say I've got $2,000 in my account. I say to you, right, Nancy, $2,000. But Mfuna, I want you to represent me as a brand, right? I don't want to see you in these places. I want you to work on your talent and work with these producers to create a good sound that Tina, as a company, we can even use it for the background track for our adverts, right? We can actually say, if you're doing well, we can then put more money to put you on a show, to get you an interview in South Africa on GQ magazine, right? As a sponsor, I've taken out my hard-earned $2,000 and I said, Dlalanini layo. But at the end of the day, how I want it back is you should create enough hype. Uguti, when you have a show, you should be able to sell tickets to give me back $3,000. Right? There's no timeline on imali ngilayo. Give it back to me in a year. But when you've rebranded yourself, come back and be able to pay me back. And when you've given me 3,000, now I can say, right, Nancy, 15,000.
Ngithe mina as an artist, khathesi andi wena uthi mina kumele ngiphike ngidecide ukuthi ngifuna umanager. But the reality ithini on the ground. Are you able to pay a manager? Maybe you don't understand what I'm trying to say.
I can sing right now. Right? I don't need a manager because I haven't cultivated myself enough to afford a manager based on my show. A manager is to manage the time you start to getting shows and you can't pick up every single call, right? If you are not at a point where you are earning plus $1,000, what are we managing? That's why some artists come to us directly to say, I've got the talent, but we want to now start turning the talent into a business. A manager is not just to make you look good. A manager is to help you manage something that you can't manage on your own anymore.
I think nxa singaphenduka back to reality yethu, angithi, I would always love to use the example yomzingeli, angithi, whom I then equate to us as an artist. But challenge enkulu ukuthi we have never done intro and retrospection of ourselves. Angithi, sijampele nje kuphuli le uthi taking artist business, angithi. But why ngifuna sirevert back to umzingeli kuda is because umzingeli uba ngumzingeli ayisikuba kwazi ukubamba ireke nokuthwala indungombe nomkhondo. Angithi. But you need to also to scale down and do retrospection and introspection to know nxa ngithi khona ngingumzingeli uphi wakhona. Lona osuke ekseni echingubo ethi iloba yini enza kubamba ngizathi njimbini.
Nangudala uVan Bodloza abaningi wenu singadilana ngizakunima lapho. So mina what I do is mostly promotions the local management for Mahlekisa Comedy Club. So ansazi ngithi okuningi nje abadala besitsho ngizathi fahla nje okuningi zokwakhulunya before. But one thing engithandileyo uthi sisilo sehambile ngifuna address yena kuqala. Ungichaze one thing. Igame le ayikho friendly, ayikho nice. Abantu balandanga zwa umngani wakho. Balanda uzodinga imali. Because ungazitshela amanga ubona kani khona abazazwela abazayenzani. They are not groomers. They are not here to groom. They are not incubation hub. Basespan. And they will always, ngama-capitalist, they'll take advantage. And one thing I hate about ama-artists amaningi ngobulawayo, you sign a contract management, the next thing athi ukhunywa ngikuda useyenza idile elinye lidayiwe next year. And other things ama-promoters do which you need to be careful about when they're exploiting you. Ulo manager, imagine now the management kuyahlupa. Management is there to protect you, safeguard you. Because mina nxa sengithatha, I know your worth, I know how I can present you. Ngizafika ngithi khona mina udalo nxa ebuya $200. Yimi engikhulumayo. Wena ungathatha uthi ngifuna 50. Uzakunika 50. But lami nxa sengithatha what I always do and how I do, ngiyakwazi ngifake yami imali phezulu. Ukwenza ukuthi kunjani? Kungakhami lawo. Ngithi ngiyakwazi embalile libangaka lingu10 egroupini elibuyayo. Ayikwani and 50. Yanika abantu imali enough to transport $40. You understand? So in management you need to understand it. Uthi khona it has to be beneficial to you and it has to be strategic. Nxa ulomngane olabangane olezihlobo mbola bobhuti ama companies asharp. For that day menza abe ngumngane abe ngumanager wakho. Because he has access to sponsorship. He has access to into eziningi.
Partner stay thina kubo manager abangu5 and khetha 1. Not bonke, and I hope that has been clarified. We'll get to a segment lana kade ngithe mina izabe inguma perspective segment, and now we are engaging.
Igama lami uGagisa nzafisa ukuthi lo bhuti ukhuda laphana presentation yakhe ngizwile bemfisa ukuthi ngingezelele kiyo. Kodwa emfisa ukuthi ngikutsho njengakhathesi it seems like sishare kakhulu ama problems esihlangana la ku industry ye arts. While list ukubuya kwethu lapha asithi thina vele sibuye lapha ukuthi size khuluma ezama artist njalo sifunde okunye okungasincedisa ezama artist ukuthi sihambe. Angithi athi siyavumelana ukuthi i-business. So asibuyeleni ekulungiseni i-business lesiboneni ukuthi sihambisa njani. Ngike ngambesheni ubhuti kuda laphana ngenxa ukuthi ngimzwile futhi sebechila ukuthi la uchila ukuthi hayi wakwa frustrated kakhulu ama-artist ade manager. Yes, uhlangane lakho lokhana kodwa ke sesifuna ukuthi sikubone njalo siye phambili. Kasibuyeni lama resolutions ukuthi siye phambili ngeart njengoba iart i-industry. oqale i-presentation umama laphana mbona ningasekho kodwa mphose ngacrasha lami ku-art mphose ngalimala indlela okungani kuphume ngakhona ngoba as an artist lapha sizefunda ukuthi kuqakatheke ngani ukuba ne-manager.
Siyananzelela ukuthi ezama-artist information asilayo anti sungaduma but ukuthi uthatha udumo lwani luyenze lube imali yinto esilelayo anti so siyananzelela ukuthi nxa kusiba lama-workshops anje so sukwazi ukuthi ama-faces ajayele ukubuya ayisikuthi ngeke ngani ukhulunywa kuthiwa ngani kuyashota into lezi anti ayisikuthi into ziyashota time so ukuthi thina sibuye njengama-artist anti I think into engani iyasilela because lapha sesifunda oningi lama-contracts sesifundile because nasesijayele into zama-verbal lochizi uyakwazi awufa senze njani anti ukuthi nxa usuqiliwe wena njenge-artist kusuka kukugwenxa because akula sivumelwano nathi sinjani kade sikhona so I think into ezinje so ezama-artist nxa singakubona nje into enje so I think kumele sitshelaneni because ama-artist amaningi ahlale khala.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. So I think for me, when I came here, I was just here to listen, right? And Nilalele, I think all I can say is this is a very engaging and educative platform. But then at the end of the day, I feel like we based it on music more than anything. I mean, nowadays, Vedema Kudmang artists, people obviously think of musicians, but I think it's also important to recognize other forms of art and other people called artists who either do dance, theater, acting, or poetry. Thank you.
So these are our 2024 reforms as we go back as creatives into the world. Asonto ezi-10, but at the end of the day, yinto ezi-10. You remember when I started, I said sometimes we need to go back to our basics. We need to go back to our basics in as much as this is ding imbinga zangkhona. For you to ding imbinga yangkhona, you need your basics. You need to know who you are. So these are our reforms. If we feel ukuthi sichiyamanye, everyone is on the socials, we can just go back on our socials and say hashtag 2024 reforms and let's spread it ikule ibe hashtag for the benefits of those that were not here. And so right now, the first one that we had is financial literacy. And so now you know as a creative, when you're going back into the world, into the creative world, meeting up, trying to join your forces with the business sectors and every other thing, you need to be financially literate, auntie. And then moving on to the second one, this was one of the points that Kuda made. Choose a specific manager from AMA managers, I6. He gave us a list of 6 managers that are your prospective managers. And he said you can at least choose one. And he enhanced here Kuda's point as well, or the MC. Enhanced that point of getting a manager. Right now, we move on to the third reform. It says, know yourself. Have a clear identity of who you are. It goes back again to the 7 P's that I gave you, knowing yourself, your product, what, branding, packaging yourself, and all that. Even as a musician, as a dancer, as a poet, as a poetress, as a comedian even, it's very important to know yourself and have identity of craft yako. Then on number 4, we have be literate, understand the blueprints of a contract. I am not sure if I am echoing that out correctly, but the bottom line is wabakwazi know the meaning of a blueprint. When you know the meaning of a blueprint, which means now you know what you are looking for on a contract, you understand the document that is called a contract. And then we go on to number 5. You should be knowledgeable of all the nitty-gritties of the Zimura cubicle. Derek raised that point. So you need to, as a creative, you need to know what Zimura is, what Zimura does, your benefits, who's Zimura, your benefits. If you signed a certain contract, you need to know what happens and what goes down for you to be you as a creative. So at the end of the day, so our number 6 is let's shun away from being ignorant. That's another reform that you are taking away when you are going home. Thank you very much for being here. on time. And thank you very much for making time actually to be here. You don't know how much I am excited as an individual, and you do not know how much we are excited as a brand, as Deb3 Events. We learned, we did not come here to teach. I was learning as well. Thank you very much for those that came through. And for those that did not come through, like I said, let's create our hashtag 2024 reforms and probably try and engage and we share. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together for the best speakers that came up on this stage.